Have you ever bought too much curriculum? Have you ever planned your homeschool day and realized,
I was really optimistic when I planned out what I could actually do.
Well, today we're going to talk about how I got to my planning routine and how I did my best to plan and avoid having to look back at the end of the year and be like,
Why do I overplan every single year?
I'm on a mission, you guys, to plan the perfect homeschool year. I feel like every year I'm getting so close. So you'll have to let me know. Do you think I planned too much again? Or did I finally plan the perfect schedule? My name is Rachel. I am a homeschool mom of a high schooler, a middle schooler, and an elementary schooler, ages 16, 13, and 10. I have all the age ranges of school to plan for. And how can I plan? Mom's only one person. How can I plan to help all of these kids who need me? My high schooler works fairly independently, but at the same time, I don't want to push him away. I want him to do things with us. My middle schooler is not as independent as I thought she would be at this point, and that's okay. I have to give her time that I thought at this point, maybe I would just be focusing on my younger one. That's not the case. And my younger one is still young. I mean, in school, she's in 4th grade, my middle schooler's in 8th grade. That's kind of a big gap. Is it even possible to teach them on some things together? It's not just planning for your kids, it's planning for mom and how much time mom actually has. And not just time.
How much energy does mom have in a day?
All of these things I have to consider when creating my schedule. We're gonna go back into my spreadsheet. I explained kind of my overall yearly vision, trying to plan out certain weeks with vacations and special weeks. And I'm gonna tell you how I moved from there to my schedule. And I will let you know, the schedule includes my curriculum plan. So this is all done before I won't say it's totally done before I purchase the curriculum, but before I purchase all the curriculum, because if my plan looks to be too overwhelming or it's too much or I have too many ideas, I need to tailor those down before I just send a cart and purchase every time. Okay, so I started here with my ideas for my weeks. I know where my weeks are going to turn out. I also, one of my things down here is my course of study. So I'm doing this kind of at the same time. So I have down here the subject that we're doing. I have each of my children individually, whether or not we're doing it in here as a whole family or just with my girls. And then I had a section here for books. I've used this in the past. I didn't really need it this year because I'm going to do our individual reading a little bit differently. But then you just kind of fill in this matrix. So my son for math, what is he doing for math? My daughter for math, what is she doing? I don't have anything here because I went ahead and put Learn Math Fast. That's what this is over here with family girls and math drills and games. So I'm going to be doing this together with my girls at the same time, but I only put Restart Singapore when my little one gets to long division. She's going to return back to Singapore math, but my middle schooler is going to keep going with Learn Math Fast. So I put in here all the things that they're going to be doing: history, social studies. My daughter is going to be doing a state study, missionary story read-alouds, or Christmas study, or early church history that we're doing. So all the things, all the ideas that I had are going into this matrix, including my family co-op ideas. This was a brain dump, okay? So like these things that are purple are things that we may not do. The black things, I think, are things that I have decided that we're gonna do. But this right here is a brain dump for me for enrichment. So I have all of my course study and my ideas done. And then I go to my routines. And this is where I start putting in what I think our day could look like. I have several routines here because you guys remember when I was showing you my year-long plan, I'm not just doing regular school weeks. I'm going to have Christmas school weeks. I'm going to have 2 weeks of winterim special weeks. I'm going to have end-of-year school weeks, and so on and so forth. So I need, for those special weeks, I need different routines. This was a way for me to kind of think through it so that when those weeks happen, I've already got the week thought out. Like I told you guys last year, when I did the Planning Your Homeschool series, I plan ahead like this to eliminate decision fatigue later in the year. There are just some weeks where you're like,
I know I'm supposed to do something different, but I can't think because there's so much going on.
So much piling on my to-do list, right? So I'm trying to make as many decisions up front as I can to help myself later. My future self is going to thank me. Okay, so I have regular week 1 here, and then I have a regular week 2. Why do I have it scheduled like that? Well, because I only have a co-op every other week. So this is what my week will look like when I have co-op, and this is what my week will look like when I don't have co-op. This week does not have my family co-op. That is what we're doing with my high schooler. And this week does have my family co-op. So I needed 2 separate routines for whatever week we're on. So then I put in here, these are approximate. I don't like this, I'm not a stickler about these times. This is just how it helps me plan out what's realistic. So on my co-op day, whatever time, I think that's what time we have to leave, and this is about the time we'll get home, about 1:30 on that day. And then I did not plan anything for that afternoon unless my son has a science experiment, and I do have planned my one-on-one with him. So if you watched my planning videos from last year, you know that I try to meet with my high schooler. Last year, I tried to meet with my high schooler on a weekly basis on Fridays. It did not end up being weekly because he was often called in to work on Fridays, and I wanted him to be able to have that flexibility. And I found on Fridays, I was exhausted from the school week, and I really needed Fridays to catch up on planning and whatever we didn't get done. This year I wanted Fridays to be free for whatever I needed Friday to be. I didn't want Friday for me to be obligated to anything for my children. I still have Friday plans, which I'll go over, but I didn't want to put my son's one-on-one on Friday. So I decided I'm only going to meet with him every other week, so we'll go over 2 weeks of stuff together. And I'm going to put it on that co-op day because I'm not going to plan anything else. I know myself. When I get home from co-op, I will be exhausted. Other introverts, you know what I mean. You're peopled out by then. Plus, it'll just be nice if I end up signing my daughters up for dance class on Mondays, again, like they did last year, then I'll get a little rest before I have to run them to dance. So 2:30 I have scheduled, either we'll do a science experiment. If I need to do a science experiment and one-on-one with him, we'll just start sooner, it'll be fine. So then on Tuesdays, that's when I'm doing my essentials class that I told you about. This is when I'm going to be actively teaching in detail my daughters the IEW lesson for the week. We'll go over the sentence diagramming techniques for the week. I have a whole essentials matrix that I've created. I think I'll probably share that with you when I get to the video telling you what my daughters are going to do this year. I'll go over my essentials plan then. So morning time starts 8:30 every regular school day, even on our co-op day. But this Tuesday is still kind of a special day. It's not really a normal, where we're going to do everything day. I have morning time until 10:15. I'm hoping to be done by 10 so that in here I can squeeze in a quick little one-on-one with my son, because I got him a master book science program this year, and it looks to me like there could be things that he and I need to talk about, a case study. He's doing forensic science and he's going to be studying real life cold cases. And so I'm supposed to go over that with him before he starts. So I thought, well, maybe we could do that in the 15 minutes after our morning time. Then my daughters can go have a recess and go jump on the trampoline or go finish their morning chores while I'm talking with him about that. And then when he goes off, then my daughters will come back to the table. We'll do Learn Math Fast together in our math drills. On this day, let's see, I have a half an hour for that, approximately. Then at 10:45 until 12 o'clock. So I have flex time in here because I'm not really sure how long this is going to take. This is going to be a weekly special Bible study focused on an individual child. So first semester, I am doing a personal Bible study for girls and women with my teenage daughter. She and I are going to be reading the same book and discussing it. I'll talk more about it when I get to her video, what curriculum she's using. But during that time, I have workbooks for my younger one that she can do individually, so she can do a personal Bible. My son is not involved at this point, but he will be second semester. Second semester, we'll be reading a book together with him and my teenage daughter. So that's the time slated out for here. Then we'll have lunch, and then in the afternoon, our essentials class. And then Wednesday, the same thing, morning routine, math, and then we'll do our read aloud. It could be history, it could be fiction, whatever it is, I'm reading aloud. It could be fairy tales. I honestly, the read alouds, I found I don't really need a specific plan because I'll probably pick a missionary story, and then once we get that done, I'll read a fiction book. Whatever I feel like, that's what we're gonna do. And then 11:15, they're slated to do their daily grammar work. Created this for my daughters so they can work independently. But I created them this daily grammar. They need to do pretty much this every single day. Spelling practice, journaling. The handwriting will actually be done while we're doing read aloud. I let them do handwriting then. Fix-It grammar. Actually, we might be doing Fix-It grammar in the morning. I'm going to see if I can squeeze that into my morning time because I also have it for my son, and then they can all three do it together. Since it only takes about 15 minutes, we might do that in the morning, but it'll be checked off by then, and so on and so forth. So this is their daily grammar work. It should not take that long. They have 45 minutes to do it, and I bet you each of these is maybe a 10-minute task. So if they don't get it done by lunchtime, they have time later in the day to do their other independent work, which I'll show you, but I listed out what their independent work is. These are the things that they need to get done. After lunch is literature. Literature study guides, literature analysis, some things that we're gonna do together. So if you saw my IEW video right here, you saw that we're gonna try to do teaching the classics together, at least with my older two. We're gonna try to watch the videos together, see how that goes, but learning how to think through what we're reading in literature. And once we finish teaching the classics, I don't have anything slated to do here, so I thought eventually this will be free space, which you sometimes need at the end of the year because you realize you've crammed too much in here. This will probably end up becoming a time where I can work with my son more detailed on his literature analysis that he needs to do for high school, because I did buy him another literature study based on watching movies. So stay tuned for my high school curriculum picks and I'll explain that to you. So then in the afternoon, maps, unit study for history, science, or a science experiment could go in here. So this time slot is versatile for what we could use it for. These are just the ideas. And then in the afternoon at 2:30, my daughters can work on their independent work that's already listed out here, and they can add this to their planner if they want. They both have planners this year, but if they would rather just use this dry erase and check it off every day, they can do that too. And then I will be able to do my son's a couple things with my son in terms of watching videos and making sure that he's getting attention from me at this time. And then on Fridays, very, very loosey-goosey because Mama needs to plan, I need to prep, I need to catch up for the week, I need to record YouTube videos. So Fridays I don't have a lot planned. We will start our days with games If last year you watched my video of my high schooler's day in the life, like what a day is like for him, you saw we started the day with games because he likes that. And it's a fun way to start. So if you're still tired and mama's still drinking some coffee, I can play a game and I can get the brain juice flowing with a game. So we'll be doing that on Friday, Bible time. And then we're gonna split off and do chores. I can do YouTube. My girls can finish their independent work. My son can go to work. I know how to play the piano. My younger daughter is kind of interested in learning. So I thought, well, maybe I can give her a piano lesson on Friday, and then the whole week she can practice it. So we'll see how that goes. And then other things we could do on Friday: library, doctor's appointments, field trips, hikes and stuff. Over here on the side this was where I was kind of brainstorming. As I was thinking through our schedule, I was brainstorming, well, what is the independent work that my daughters could work on? So I was adding it over here, things like this, and that's how I created this. But over here on the spreadsheet, it was just me dumping my brain. That's full of ideas all the time. So week 2, very, very similar with a lot of it, except this day is basically, like a Wednesday and Thursday from last week. It's basically the same. The only difference is our family co-op instead of our areas co-op with other homeschoolers. So this is our special family day. So I've got my schedule as follows. Why did I write family co-op there for 8:30? I think I just wrote it so that I knew that it was 4, but really that's when we'll be starting our Bible time again, or maybe even starting with a game. We'll see how it goes. But on this day, we're not going to do our regular Bible study. So every other week, we're doing a special Bible study. So I thought, since the family co-op is about my high schooler doing stuff with us, the Bible study we are finally going to do. Finally, like I purchased this, I think when my son was in 3rd or 4th grade, okay, is the Not Consumed Sibling Bible study. I can't remember how many family co-op days I have planned. Let's just say I have 14. I think I have more than that. But I have it planned so that we can do one of the sibling lessons for every co-op day together. We're going to be doing a campfire curriculum unit, so I have that slated from 10:15 to 11:15. That should be plenty of time. They say campfire curriculum only takes 30 minutes, so if that's true, then they'll have time to go outside and enjoy each other's company on nice days. Then we'll come back inside. First semester, we're going to be doing a poetry unit. And then the second semester, I'm hoping to do fallacy detective. My son did fallacy detective when he was in the challenge program for classical conversations. I thought it would be good review for him. Plus I have some other books on fallacies, and it would especially be good for my teenage daughter to start learning these things. And from what I remember and what I know people have said, Fallacy Detective is a super fun book. I just need to find it. I know I have it and I cannot find it, so that's why it's slated for second semester. Then in the afternoon, we're going to all do some sentence diagramming and math games together because my son does like to participate in that with us, and he enjoys sentence diagramming too. Then I have a holiday activity slated. So for example, if it's a Valentine's week, then maybe we'll do a Valentine activity. If it's the Reformation week, maybe that's when we'll do something here. I also have watch movie or do a science experiment. So we're flexible on what we can do here. It's really just meant to be a fun educational day for us to do together. So I did a similar schedule for our Christmas weeks for family co-op day. My son will do everything with us again. But you can see right here in our morning time, I have carols because we're doing campfire curriculum unit. So I deleted a bunch of stuff like the math and the daily grammar and stuff because we're doing the poetry. So I've created some space here for our Christmas schooling. In our winterim weeks, we're going to be doing a different Bible study again. For our winterim weeks, we're going to start back with our math and our personal Bible study and read alouds, but we're also going to be watching these documentaries together on American history. We'll watch 1 hour a day of this documentary. And then in the afternoon, we will do art together. I cannot remember at the moment if my son is going to be doing all this with me. I'm going to have to figure that out if his high school curriculum will allow for him to do this in these weeks. But that would be so awesome if he could do some of it. He'll at least do the co-op stuff though. And then again in the afternoon, if my son has a science experiment, that's the time slated here. And then this interactive notebook is something, a fun grammar activity for my daughter. So we'll do that during the winterim weeks. And then our end of year week. This was our old literature time slot. We are doing the Phantom Tool Booth as our read aloud, but we're also doing a lap book for it that I got for free. So that's going to be super fun. And then again, science experiments with my son and special project. So if we're not doing a science experiment, I think at this point in time, we will no longer be having our regular co-op. So that's why I don't need two separate weeks here. There's no regular co-op to contend with, and my daughters are going to have a special project. So I was thinking my teenager will be working on her state project, and I might let my younger daughter choose a country to study and create like one of those big presentation boards to present about a country. So that's kind of my idea for the end of the school year for special projects and stuff. So yeah, I had to think through all of these things, but then I had to go back and say, did I squeeze it all in from the course of study? So what I did was I printed off the course of study and I printed off my routine, and I literally went through one by one and said, okay, I had planned for Proverbs book right here. On my printed copy of my routine, crossed off Proverbs study because I said, yes, that is accounted for. It is right here on a weekly basis when I'm doing my special studies. So it was important for me to make sure that everything that I had planned in my course of study was somehow accounted for in the routine so that I didn't over-purchase and I didn't overwhelm myself with looking at the course of study and say, this is way too many ideas. I have them in special weeks to see if we can get them accomplished. And I had accounted for everything, and the things that were in my course of study that are not accounted for are deleted, except for the family co-op ideas because we got to see how that goes. Let me know in the comments below if this overwhelms you or if this excites you because I love thinking through all of these things. It's like a puzzle to me and figuring out if it can work. And so in the next video, I want to go into a few more details with how I kept myself organized when planning out my school year. Like I said, I'm not going to go over every little tab in this spreadsheet because I did that last year in this video, but I did add a couple new tabs that helped me think through what I was doing and to keep myself organized that I think you might find helpful. Because in any of these planning videos, I hope that you're not thinking, I have to do it exactly like she did it. No. Your brain works differently than mine. But maybe in thinking through how I'm doing it, it will trigger an idea for you to try, or maybe a problem that you've had that you're like, I think that might solve the problem that I've been struggling with in my planning process. So stay tuned for the next video, and then very soon after that, I'm gonna start talking about curriculum. Till next time, bye.